Namaste and a very warm welcome to all of you. On behalf of OMPC, we are delighted to welcome you today one of our special 3-day series, Gita for Life, Wisdom for Today, Guidance for Life. Over the next 3 evenings, we will reflect on timeless teachings inspired by Adi Shankaracharya's Viveka Chudamani, exploring how spiritual wisdom can help us navigate modern life with greater clarity, balance and joy. We are deeply honored to have with us Swami Chidananda Saraswati, founder and trustee of 4Y Forum, a non-profit charitable trust dedicated to Vedantic wisdom, self-inquiry and inner transformation. Swamiji is an internationally respected speaker, author and teacher of Vedanta and recipient of an honorary doctorate in spiritual science from the Yoga University of the Americas. Today's topic is How Life Gets Messed Up, a practical and deeply relevant reflection on the causes of confusion, emotional struggle, and imbalance in modern life, and how ancient wisdom helps us understand them. Please join me in warmly welcoming Swami Chidananda Saraswati. Namaste. And welcome to all of you here. Actually, I was not the person who was supposed to deliver this welcome address. So before I go back, just two cents of my own. It was Ramya Nair, president of OMPC, who was supposed to do the welcome speech. She's not here. And our secretary Satyamurthy is here, but he told me yesterday that if he was to make a speech, then he will not attend this function. So I wanted him badly here. So I'm doing this for Satyamurthy and Ramya. And this is a written speech which Ramya sent to me over WhatsApp, and I read it out. And this is a very memorable day for me because it was my dad who wrote for the first speech for me when I was in class 1. And after so many years, I got a second speech writer. So thank you for that opportunity, Swamiji.
A good welcome speech, especially your 2 cents was quite spicy.
Viveka was obvious in it, right? Viveka was very obvious.
Yes, very evident. Yes.
Discrimination.
Yes. Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavatpada Shankaram Loka Shankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Kritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Yairime Guru Vipurvam Padavakya Pramanatah Vyakyata Sarva Vedanta Tan Nityam Pranatosmyam. Pujya Gurudev Swami Chinmayanandji used to say, you may leave all books, Vedanta books, and keep just 2 with you, and they will give you all required guidance to reach liberation or moksha. And the 2 texts that Pujya Swamiji thus emphatically recommended were Bhagavad Gita and Viveka Chudamani. Over the years, over the decades, I should say, I have personally seen the truth of what Swamiji had said. This Viveka Chudamani is simply marvelous. There are so many shlokas, so many portions which can be very helpful to us in our inner journey. Thus it is that for these 3 evenings we have taken 3 to 4 or maximum 6 stanzas from Viveka Chudamani to first talk about how our life gets messed up. Second day, how we may rise above the psychological mess. And thirdly, how we may get some idea of the joyous life of those who have freed themselves of the psychological mess. I call it psychological mess because body by itself is not a problem. And the pure spirit is, the Vedanta says, ever free. It is the mind which actually makes us suffer. In this world, who is happy? All of us get moments of happiness, no doubt. And in deep sleep, of course, there is great peace. But otherwise, everyone has something to bother about, something to complain about. Perhaps in some sense, I have more right to say this than all of you, because all of you, perhaps in a corner of your mind, might think that those who are single, who are in an ashram, who are looked after by the society, they will not have any worry. I have a right to say that is not so. I have been for decades without family, no wife, children, no possessions, nothing to, I don't have to pay any rent or tax or anything. But I have seen that the human mind, which I also have, somehow creates varieties of complications. I am calling it the mess, psychological mess. I have seen it in myself, and I have seen it in many sadhus, swamis. I wouldn't say all. There are a few truly blessed sadhus who have risen above all such ragadvesha. But otherwise, a Himalayan sadhu also, to just to give an example of how a sadhu's life also doesn't by itself give you peace. A Himalayan sadhu also could be worried that another sadhu living in another hut at a little distance gets more devotees to come and see him. Or the other sadhu has 2 or 3 disciples to go to some chatra and get diksha, food for him, whereas he, in his case, has to himself go. In Haridwar, Rishikesh, Uttarkashi, etc., there are some chatras. One of the most well-known chatras is Kali Kamli Wala Chatra. Chatra is Dharmashala. Food is given free for sadhus. Kali Kambali Wala means literally someone with a black kambal, black blanket upon his shoulder. Apparently there was some great sadhu who was always having a black kambal on him, and he established a number of places which are all called today Kali Kambali Wala Chatra. Sadhus can go there and collect food. Some sadhus, for lunch they go to one chatra, for dinner again go to another. There are some systems and customs. So, without going further into specific examples, one doesn't have to have family, work, job, and social status, etc., to get into certain heartburn about why am I suffering, why is this happening to me, and so on. Wherever you go to Himalayas, go to another country, go anywhere, human mind is sure to, not likely to. Human mind is sure to. We may have, sometimes some of us may have from a distance enviable life. We may be famous, we may be well placed, we may have no shortage of money, but honestly, when we look at ourselves, we feel, I have everything, but not this. And if you sit down, take some time off and make a list, the list will grow to many items, not just one or two. I'm not here to give more examples on this matter, but the rishis of yore, of whom Sri Shankaracharya is one of the finest representatives and interpreters, drawing from the Vedas, drawing from his predecessors. Advaita Vedanta was not started by Sri Shankaracharya, but at a time when there was a lot of confusion about what the true teachings of the Upanishads are, Sri Shankaracharya showed, drawing from his gurus, in fact a long Guru Parampara. That is why he says while starting his commentary on Taittiriya Upanishad, Yairime Gurubhi Purvam Padavakya Pramanataha Vyakyata Sarva Vedantaha Tan Nityam Pranatosmeham. I daily bow down before those gurus who gave Vyakhyana on the Vedantas. And he doesn't even mention just one or two names. Yaihi is a plural. Even if he had kept in mind his immediate guru Govindapada and Govindapada's guru Gaudapada, in Sanskrit grammar the Yaihi would not have come, because in Sanskrit grammar for dual number there is a separate word. Yabhyam. One man, Saha, he. Many men, te. But if it is two, tau. In Sanskrit, there is singular, plural, and in between there is a dual. Ekavachana, Bahuvachana, and there is a Dvivachana. So in this shloka it would have been, rather than Yaihi me, Yabhyami me. No, he says Yaihi means he is keeping in mind a long succession of teachers. And Sri Shankaracharya, to whom this Viveka Chudamani is credited, gives in wonderful detail with lot of poetical excellence. But this Viveka Chudamani is a treat to read, a treat to reflect on. He describes how no matter how much wealth or even health one has, the mind is the culprit. And that's what we want to see this evening. Let me go to a particular shloka. I have selected some shlokas, 2 for this evening, and it is inspiration from Viveka Chudamani. Why our life gets messed up, it's a colloquial expression, and is another way we may say why we fall from that childlike innocence which we have in our early years, that childlike purity of heart. As we grow up, we become quite scheming, quite clever. We develop very many inner contradictions. We say something but do something else. At the time of saying itself, we have actually some other action plan, but we just say. Everybody, even the respected members of the society, do have contradictions. And that is what we call psychological mess. For psychological here means other than functional dimension of the mind. You know mathematics, let us say, and you know starting from addition, subtraction, etc., very advanced topics, calculus, vector calculus and whatnot. And you teach or you use that in various applications. Or why take such a big example? Somebody knows some game, somebody knows cooking. They are all functional. What we mean by psychological mess is certain activities of this mind where the ego comes up. The ego comes up. What is ego? Ego is a bundle of self-judgments. You and I go somewhere and everybody else is garlanded but we were not. Something pinches us. We grind our teeth. I will never come to any function of this organization. Who did not? Actually, what do you get by getting a garland? In fact, sometimes when people put a garland on you, it is more a nuisance. Some places garlands have been put in water to keep them fresh and they put it on you. The whole shirt or sari becomes wet. Some other time in garlands there may be some worms, insects on the flowers. Some organizers don't check. And some other place very common is, I'm talking of India's examples. They put the garland and the thread itself goes up to your waist. The flowers start after that. Then another organizer who comes running, hey, must tie it. So they lift it and tie it, then flowers start from here. Suppose you are one of the 10 who went together and you are the one who has not garlanded. All that hassle is not there. But the ego says, I don't mind that water, I don't mind one or two insects, I don't mind the garland going down up to the waist. But the question is, why did they leave me out? And likewise somewhere else, let us say, we were honored and others were ignored. We feel, nobody else was given that much attention than I was. So we feel very happy. In a group photograph, when next day, in olden days, prints used to come. Nowadays, next day you may get a copy on WhatsApp or somewhere. You first see how you look, and after ensuring that you look quite well, then you say to a friend, you look very good in this group photograph. The comment made for others is after, and suppose in the group photograph you don't look good, you grind your teeth. What? The photographer did not do a good job. I was present once in Swami Tejomayananji's cottage long back in our ashram in Mumbai. He was, as many of you know, very good humor, very witty. Somebody brought those good old days, a flyer would be printed and brought. Swami, here is the flyer for your lectures next month in Lucknow or somewhere. He saw it and half truly angrily and half pretending said to the person who brought, what is this you have? I look like Chambal ka Daku. Chambal Valley has, those days, dacoits. I look like Chambal Daku here. Could you not get a better picture of mine? So in small and big ways, leaving humor apart, I'm trying to define what is an ego. The ego is a certain self-assessment, self-judgment. It's a certain self-evaluation where for a little of happiness which is perhaps natural, there is a lot of pride if we are given special attention, if everybody listens to us. We have our way in everything. Great. And we say how dark it is if everybody agrees. Truly it is so dark. And when another evening it is really dark and we say, even though 7:30 it is so bright, actually it's dark. All of you, yeah, it is so dark or so bright, People agree with us. If we feel elated, then that's a psychological mess actually. We move away from truth. All we want is appreciation, approval, and people falling in line with the way we want to act. That I call psychological mess. The root cause of psychological mess in human life is, dealt with in the Vedanta with great depth actually. That is how, let's see the first shloka that we have selected. In 172nd shloka, I took a big jump and came to 172, for there is a nice illustration. Viveka Chudamani excels in presenting metaphor after metaphor, illustrations after illustrations, similes, whatever you call them, various literary attractions, alankaras they are called, the poetry, the words, and so on. I am not so much a student of literature, but those who study literature, sahitya, of any language, Tamil or Malayalam, Sanskrit or English, those who study literature have one part of study of literature going into various forms of alankaras, rhyme and meter and examples and so on. It is said Kalidasa was a great one in giving illustrations. Upama Kalidasasya Bharave Arthagauravam Dandinaha Padalalityam Mage Santi Trayogunaha. There is a shloka. Kalidasa was so good in giving appropriate and very touching illustrations, upama. And Bharavi, another great Sanskrit poet, was known for Artha Gauravam. He uses such words which have great weight in them. Gaurava is weight. Guru means heavy. Dandi was another great writer in Sanskrit literature. His words had such elegance, pada lalitya, lalita, pada lalityam. And that shloka apparently was composed in a certain context where the focus was yet another poet called Magha, and the shloka praises him. Maghe santi trayogunaha. It is like,